So I'm talking, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. The internet seems to have just gone totally blank. And I don't know if I'm working or I'm not working. This is shocking stuff. I'll carry on regardless. It said I was still broadcasting. I looked on YouTube and it said I wasn't streaming on YouTube, but it said I was broadcasting on the PS5. So I had to stop it and start it again, and let's hope that's working. And oh God. So Dan Robbo is retaking the lead. Everyone's made their pit stops now. You probably missed it because we were having internet issues. Frequency then is down in second with GT Racer in third, but Rotary's caught him back up. GT Racer managed to get that position from Rotary in the pit stops, but Rotary now right on the case for GT Racer. Yeah, I'm on now. Yeah, but it was weird because the PS5 said I was still broadcasting with 0 viewers. Yeah, it never closed. No, that's the one before because I've restarted it. I stopped it and restarted it. Oh dear. Oh, a big penalty for Rotary. I didn't see because I was chatting to my son about our internet woes because he reckoned I never stopped streaming, but I said I did because I physically stopped the stream and restarted it because it was not on YouTube. I don't know. When it gets technical, my head explodes. So Dan Robbo there is leading. Frequency in second. GT Racer was under a lot of pressure from Rotary, but Rotary's picked himself up a 2-second penalty. That's a big hit. Noir Antares is only 1.5 seconds behind Rotary, and he's going to come on like a really bad rash and take over the position. Rotary then is got to watch out for Nano Maranello, who's right there in his wake. And whatever Rotary did, that is a nightmare for him. Then a nice 7-second gap down to Splash. Fred Dude 1.5 seconds behind him in the 8th. Shadow in that Audi, which is not terrible after a huge spin that we saw him have. His tyres are done though, and he is absolutely fighting that Audi in the garage 96 car. Animal Untamed is 10th ahead of Kevin. Kevin must have pitted again, and Animal Untamed is the only one that has taken that fuel tank all the way, isn't he? And Kevin, no, he hasn't pitted again. He's just having a shocker of a race. Well, maybe he has because he's gone for softs. He must have done. Shadow into the pits then in the Audi, and it's Dan Robbo leading this race so far as we get to the 25-minute mark. Frequency in second place, the fastest man on track. He's gone for a set of soft tyres. He didn't put any fuel in. He's 11 seconds ahead of GT Racer, with Noir Antares 2.5 seconds back from him. And Dan Robbo then 7.3 seconds. I'm really annoyed with that. We haven't had internet issues for as long as I can remember. I don't know why suddenly we that happened. It's not on. I'm annoyed. I apologise, guys. I'm gonna have a sip of my energy drink. Try and calm down. See if I can rub my cat. Come here, pussy. Ah, oh, yeah. Thank you, Suki. Just a little calming rub. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Ah, yeah, that's calming. Thank you, Suki. So, Dan Robbo is in pole. He got pole. He's in the lead. 6.4 seconds. He's lost a bit of time to Frequency, who's gone for the soft tyre. And then GT Racer looking good for a podium here. Noir Antares getting that position from Rotary when he picked up a huge penalty, a 2-second penalty. He's slowly trying to pull away from the Corvette of Nano Maranello. And then Splash in 7th, who had a disastrous start to the race in the AMG Mercedes, is coming back. And I've heard that Mercedes is fueled by Lewis Hamilton's tears. So... cry, baby, cry. Fred Dude there. Oh, picking up a 0.5 second penalty. We're having a little bit of corner cuts and clips and all sorts. And Shadow in the Audi trying to come back in this race, but 30 seconds behind Fred Dude. But Fred Dude, yeah, I'd say a pit stop between them. It is a brand spanking new set of mediums for Shadow, and we'll see later in the race how that works out for him. Kevin, oh no, wrong way, sorry. Kevin in 10th. He's only 2.4 seconds, but he's got no fuel on board whatsoever, with Animal Untamed there 9 seconds behind Kevin, but Kevin is just about to make a pit stop. So Dan Robbo then leads the way from Frequency, but he's catching him. It's 5 seconds now. Dan Robbo with a 44.5, 44.6 last time out. Frequency 43s, another second faster. Oh my word, what's gonna happen? We're gonna have a fight up at the front. GT Racer then, he is sitting in 3rd, doing a crack-a-lacka job with Noirs and Terrace. With a terrible start, he's found himself up and into 4th place. Rotary has the pace, doesn't have the luck with all of the penalties and the problems he's had during this race, and now his tyres are punishing. That Jenny X doesn't half punish a set of tyres. Give me 1 second. So Nano Marinello in 6th place, with Dan Robbo leading the way with Frequency in 2nd place. GT Racer in 3rd, Noir and Terrace in 4th. Then we've got Rotary in 5th place. Nano Marinello in 6th, Splash in 7th. Fred Dude is in 8th. He's having a struggle around that corner. That corner is a real git of a corner for these guys, and once their tyres start going, it's a massive struggle trying to stay on the grey stuff. Fred Dude then in 8th, with Shadow in 9th. Animal Untamed does get that position back from Kevin, who is coming out of the pits with some fresh fuel and fresh tyres, and nearly a lap down on the leader already. Only 30 minutes into this race, 1/3 in, and Dan Robbo is starting to see, I wouldn't even say Kevin is a backmarker. They're all aliens. You saw all their DRs at the beginning. They're all A's and at least B's. But Dan Robbo at the moment is only 3.6 seconds. Frequency is definitely catching him, but he's also burning the fuel doing so. And Dan Robbo's fuel is lasting a little bare, but the tyres not. Tyres not so much lasting. Kevin is getting, we've got a whole host of pit stops down here. Rotary is just coming out, and he's picked up a 3-second penalty for crossing the line. Rotary's had nothing but bad luck in this race. Nano Marinello has managed to stay within the pit lane, and Splash comes out, and he looks safe, bruv. And Shadow, meanwhile, picks up a position there from Splash. So the Audi R8 is up and into 8th place, 6 seconds behind Nano, who's 5 seconds behind Rotary, but Rotary is gonna have to spend a huge penalty, and it'll probably cost him 5 seconds, what with the slowdown and the speed back up again. And I'm getting really worried. Oh, it says 12 viewers because there's no one chatting in the in the YouTube channel, so I was worried. So Frequency, Dan Robbo's gone in. Now he's gone in earlier than I thought, but the tyres are quite used. So Frequency now in the lead, and it's two different strategies from the McLaren and the BMW. Which strategy will win out? And GT Racer, there's a yellow flag. What's the yellow flag for? Hey? There's a yellow flag somewhere. Fred Dude's on the track. Rotary, everyone is on the track. It's Kevin. Kevin's had an issue and he's had to leave. And that's our first DNF of the day, is it? It could well be. And we're down to 10. Frequency 17.5 seconds. GT Racer is going to be in the pits pretty soon in that Corvette. Noir Antares as well, getting very close to a pit stop. Dan Robbo back out, 23 seconds behind Frequency. He's gone for another set of medium tyres and another half a tank of fuel. So Dan Robbo keeping it consistent with his strategy, where Frequency's he's mixing it up. Rotary then, he spent that penalty, he's done okay, he stayed ahead of Nano Maranello. So I thought he'd lose the whole 5 seconds, paying a 3-second penalty, but it hasn't cost him as much as I thought it would. And he's still there. He's got lovely tinted windows on that. How does he manage that? Is that just the Whoa! Big sideways move from the Jenny X. Is that how the Genesis X comes, with like tinted windows? Shall I get on board and see what it looks like? Doesn't look any different, does it? So a Rotary then for the Full Throttle Racing team in the Jenny X, sitting in 5th place at the moment. Earlier in the race he was holding, what, 2nd or 3rd? Yeah, he was 2nd, wasn't he, ahead of Frequency, and behind Robbo. He did get the lead, I think, off of the line. Now GT Racers into the pits, as is Noir Antares, as we predicted they'd be in soon. Oh gosh, Slurpee. And so Frequency leads from Dan Robbo. Rotary, he's going to be, is he going to reclaim his 3rd place? Is he close enough to do such a thing? GT Racer was originally third before all the pit stops started happening. He's coming out of the pits now, and it does look like he's kept hold of that 3rd spot. And Noir's Antares looks like he's keeping the 4th, and Rotary, he's not going to get those positions from him. But there is a lap or two where the tyres are cold. They've both gone on to medium tyres, and GT Racer's got 4 seconds on Noir. Noir has got 3.2 seconds on Rotary, but Rotary's tyres up to temperature, and it's easy to make a mistake on that out lap. But Frequency is the man at the moment, but his fuel is flashing, and he's 25 seconds ahead of Dan Robbo, and a pit stop is around about 25 to 26 seconds. It's going to be very tight. Frequency's in. Frequency is in for Stasila Racing, and the McLaren being worked on as we speak. Dan Robbo pushing to retake the lead. He's got 24 seconds on GT Racer, and Noir is 4th, but he's being caught by Rotary at the moment. Nano Maranello is still in the fight there in 6th spot, with Shadow in the Audi in 7th, with Splash in 8th. Now let's have a look at the front here. Dan Robbo, and here comes Frequency out of the pits, but Dan Robbo there, you can see on the track for the AXR team, has retaken the lead. And Frequency though on the soft tyres, half a tank of fuel again, and they've both made 2 stops now in this race. Interesting. GT Racer in 3rd, with Noir Antares in 4th, Rotary in 5th, and Nano Maranello is 6th, with Shadow in 7th, Splash in 8th, Fred Dude in 9th, and Animal Untamed is in 10th spot. But Dan Robbo really seriously has actually pulled a blinder so far, but Frequency is catching him. I think we should enjoy a little bit of in-car with Frequency. I'll just leave you with him for a minute or so. Enjoy it as he tries to catch up Dan Robbo on his racing soft tyres and a little bit less fuel, I believe. So we're here with the AequepaX Racing channel for round one, race one of the new GTWEC championship. Well, there's no reason to say championship when you say C. Excuse me. And we've been watching Stasila's Racing's frequency nipping around, and he's got an interesting setup on his car. It seems like he's a lot of engine braking going on in that McLaren. He's trying, it seems like to use the brake not so much, just a little dab of the brakes, and then it's more about using the accelerator and gears to brake the car. So it's an interesting setup that they're carrying with the McLaren. And yeah, just pouring myself another coffee. Coffee. It's probably cold now. By Jove, it's not. I put it in a flask. I knew we were on a long stint. Right, let's have a look at how this race is going then. Yeah, it was just interesting. I just thought it was interesting watching frequency drive around, because it's infrequently, saying his frequency, he infrequently uses the brakes, I found. Dan Robbo, I'm all about the brakes, me. I love it. I love getting on those brakes. But I do a dance between the accelerator and the brake. It's like a little ballet going on down under. So Dan Robbo then, 3.7 seconds lead, and he's been matching the lap times of frequency. So the two leaders have made no gains. GT Racer, 23 seconds adrift of these guys. In third place, GT Racer, if I remind myself who he's racing for again. Give me a second. It's a long list. It's a long list. Yeah, he's with the Clockwork Motorsport team, Vertex, sorry. Oh my gosh, that was long. It's because all sorts of things have come up about the internet, like saying something went wrong and wow, this dock has changed a lot to sync to the latest version, reload. But I don't want to reload it because I don't want to mess the internet up. Did you get me? Yeah? So GT Racer is in third place for Clockwork Motorsports team, Apex. Not Apex, that's a different team. Vertex, sorry. Apex has Noir and Terrace. Oh, so Noir is his teammate. Oh, there you go. He's a Clockwork Apex. So is the Apex team the A team, and the Vertex is like the B team? And at the moment, the B team is ahead of the A team. Dun 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 dun. Rotary is in fifth, trying to find a bit of luck out there to go his way. Everything against him, every penalty you could conceive. He is the Ocon of round one. He's our Ocon today. And no one wants to be Ocon, I'm sure. But Rotary picking up hella stacks of penalties. He's going to be fined up the backside by the end of this race. Groot's going to be counting those pennies. He's going to be sat there saying, right, fine for that second penalty. That's a 3-second penalty. That's another fine. Oh, and he's lost the road in the chicane. And is that the tyres? It possibly is. It is possibly the tyres there. So Rotary down in fifth, just trying to stay alive in that Genesis X at this point in the race. We're at 44 minutes, so that means we are nearly at the halftime show. And I believe we've got Beyonce for the halftime show, so we'll look forward to that. Nano Maranello, and Nano Maranello, he's chasing him down. It just sounds like a song lyric. I love it. It just rolls of sweet. Nano Maranello and Maranello Maranello. But Nano Maranello chasing down the Brit, and the Brit is going to be in the pits pretty soon. Fred Dude on his controller. He looks like he's got it though. That car's not playing the shaky anymore, is it? It's at least going in a straight line, which when he first moved over to the controller, it barely was. Again, another Gen X, wasn't it? It's another one of those Gen X's. I think they know everything. No, I mean, it's a Genesis X, the car, not the person. I don't know how old Fred do this. But, so Rotary in, like we predicted, and Maranello's joined him into the pit lane. Thinks it's a good idea. Yeah, I suppose his fuel and his tyres are there. Fred Dude, no need for a pit stop just yet, and he will move up and into a 5th spot. Interesting stuff. Splash goes in with quite a lot of fuel on board. His tyres are quite tidy as well. That's an interesting pit from Splash. And Shadow there in the Audi, fighting the car more than the track. And Animal Untamed is, well, he lost his buddy, didn't he? He was racing Kevin for a while, but he's got a lap put on him by Frequency. And Dan Robbo, Frequency's really pulled in Dan Robbo's time. Now, was that getting past the back marker? Or is Dan Robbo starting to save a bit of fuel? He did a 44.4 last time around. He's been doing 43s. And is this the tyres? The fuel's low as well. Frequency's got a bit more fuel, better tyres. And Frequency is looking strong come mid-race, isn't he? He really is. Where is all my sim fans in the chat? Is the chat not working? Yeah, no. You just no one wants to chat. So Dan, Robert, maybe they're scared of using the internet too much, and it making me fall off again. So Dan Robbo is your leader for the AequepaX team, one of the AequepaX teams. There's 2 of them in there. Let me see if I can find out where it is. And no, he's not, is he? I thought Dan Robbo was an AequepaX guy. He's gone to another team, has he? Let me find Dan Robbo. My good golly gosh, they hop teams so much this lot.
Follow the race, I guess.
He was definitely racing. He was
quiet.
Oh, now the chats are starting to happen. Here we go. Dan Robbo. I thought he was an AequepaX guy, but it doesn't look like he is. I'm trying to find what team he is in. He raced for AequepaX Racing last season. Oh, he is racing for the Speedbots Motorsports, number 2, with Caliber, Dan Robbo, and Melvin. That is an unstoppable force. So Frequency has to do something special here, because Caliber will be racing in the next race. And here we go. The chat's kicked off. Kenzie saying, yeah. Beetlejuice saying, people concentrated to follow the race, I guess. Evil Dragon saying, chat X is quiet. Kenzie is saying, been following Frequency, lol. Kenzie saying, Dan is with SBN, Nicholas Bridesmaid. So Frequency then is ahead, but Dan's got into the pits. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. So Dan's pitted and Frequency stayed out, but he's got a pit as well. It's only going to be a lap or 2. GT Racer out there, bit of fuel, still a little meat on them tyres. And he's going to be seeing Dan coming out of the pits ahead of him. GT Racer, he won't want to get too involved in this, will he? Or will he? Look at him. Yeah, why not, he says. Why not? And GT Racer for Vertex Clockwork Motorsport is now up into 2nd place, but will need to make a pit stop with the leader in 3rd. Noir and Terrace picking up a penalty there, half a second. And he'll be getting close to a pit stop as well. Then we have a Rotary, who I haven't seen he's had a penalty for a few laps, so he's just made a pit stop, has he? A 2:14? Yeah, he must have just pitted. So he'll be waiting for GT Racer and Noirs to make their pits. Nano and Maranello, where did he go? Nano Maranello recently pitted with Rotary. Yeah, I remember now. I remember they both went in. They're racing each other with Shadow looming in the background there. Tyres still good in his Audi R8. And he's picked himself up a penalty as well. I don't like the penalties, in all fairness. I think they're over jealous, whatever, they're too much. Frequencies into the pits then. Dan Robbo's got to do the lap of his life. And he's back ahead of GT Racer and missed that. I don't know if GT Racer had made a mistake. I don't want to do a replay because I don't want to miss the pit stop. They've got the fuel. He's moving. Dan Robbo put 3/4 of a tank of fuel in and a set of medium tyres. And what has Frequency done? He could have saved himself a lot of time. Dan Robbo going down the straightaway at the moment. Frequency's still crawling down the pits, and it's Dan Robbo into the first corner, and Dan Robbo retakes the lead. Was it ever in question? And here comes Frequency as he sees the red and white car, the Beamer, go past, and GT Racer gets that position, but GT Racer positively will be into the pits in the next lap. Frequency then down into third, and still some 3 or so seconds. He's got long fuel as well. So is this them? They're not going to get to the end of the race on that fuel, so one more pit stop to make. But they both, it's like they're telepathic or something. Noir Zanteris, he's very close to a pit stop as well. Rotary will be happy to see that, and he'll be hoping to get back ahead, but he lost the position, didn't he, in the last sort of pit stops for Full Throttle Racing. So Rotary, I don't think he's going to. He needs a little extra help, I think, to get that podium back. I think GT Racer though seems to have the podium all sewn up in the Corvette. Dan Robbo, I'm still not guaranteeing in the win, you know. I think Frequency could still come up with something in this race. Noir Anteras, he's on the verge of a pit stop, and he wants to get in and out before Rotary and makes it around to the straightaway. Nano and Maranello, 6th place so far in the race. And has he got anything more for the end there while they do their last couple of stints? Shadow in 7th. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Maranello, but his tyres and fuel are in a worse state than Nano Maranello, and he'll have to pit. Fred Dude has recently pitted, and he'll be looking for that place from Shadow. 2nd place GT Racer has come into the pits, and Noir, both team Clockworks making their pit stops at the same time. Dan Robbo then in the lead, Frequency in 2nd. Can Rotary catch the guys out in the pits? Can they get the Clockwork guys, the Full Throttle Racing team? Pushing on, but he's just too far away. GT Racer already has been released, and Noir's has been released also, and they'll be hitting the track. And Rotary only just coming around that final corner, pushing on as hard as he can. But GT Racer back out on track and up into speed, and Noir's also getting onto the track as Rotary makes his way around the first corner. And he's got 5 seconds to find on those guys ahead of him, and they've gone on to the fresh medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank for GT Racer, and yeah, not quite 3/4 of a tank for Noir. And in the chat, Kyle saying they be fast, they be blooming fast. Aliens, I'm surrounded by them. They say aliens don't exist, but I am watching a bunch of them right now. So Dan Robbo, 4.7 second lead on Frequency at this point in the race. Frequency, we've seen him closing up. He's gone for a medium tyre as well. Frequency has been started the race on a medium, but has gone to the soft tyre in most of his stints, but he's gone back to the medium. I believe him and Robbo are going to try and go for a long stint here, but the Robbo is burning through the fuel a lot quicker than Frequency is in his McLaren. Robbo representing SBM, was it we said? Hang on, I'll get there. Frequency's in the McLaren. He's representing Stosilla Racing, and Robbo, yeah, he's in that real alien team with Caliber. Speedbots Motorsport. Is that SBM? Is that what SBM stands for? Speedbots Motorsport. Makes sense. Does make sense. Kenzie saying, where's the CWM ice cream truck at? We missed the half-time show. What CWM ice cream truck? Oh, is there meant to be another person in it? CWM. Because I thought we were short. I thought there was meant to be another team. No, I think that's all of them. Garage 96 is here, representing Scuderia. Oh, someone told me as well. Kira here. Speedbox Motorsports are here, Stacilla Racing's here, Clockwork Motorsport Team Vertex is here, Clockwork Motorsport Team Apex is here, Full Throttle Racing is represented, THG RTF was here but Kevin left, and Kyera Coursers might not be here. Big Mama, no, Animal Untamed is here, yeah, and AXR, both AXR teams are represented. So yeah, no, I think everyone's here who is meant to be here is here. So Dan Robbo then is flying out there in the lead, 5.7 seconds ahead of Frequency. GT Racer 30 seconds behind as we're getting to the 55th minute mark. GT Racer 8 seconds ahead of his teammate Noir Antares, and the Clockwork guys have done an absolutely blinding job coming up through the pack and rounding out the top four. Rotary though, another penalty. Groot, count your pennies, man. Another fine coming his way. Full Throttle Racing is funding us all the way. AequepaX Racing sponsored by Full Throttle Racing. Nano Maranello, 7.5 seconds behind Rotary. Now the fuel and the tyres pretty much the same between the two of them, and half a second isn't going to make a blind bit of difference to Nano. He's pulled a 46.5 his last time around, Rotary a 45.6, so Nano is down on pace. Fred Dude having to move to the controller. We know he's very much more pacier than he has shown today. And he's just damaged control, I imagine, in the Jenny X. And 7th spot at the moment looks at best he can do. He's 5 seconds behind Nano and Maranello with a little bit more fuel and a little better tyres. So we'll see how that shakes out in the next 33 minutes. Splash had an awful beginning to the race and he's been fighting against it. And he's lost the back end of the Merc. Not the Merc. Yeah, the Merc. And like I said, that car's being run on Lewis Hamilton's tyres, and there's obviously not enough tyres in the bank. Let's roll out Michael Massey and make Hamilton cry a bit more, so then we can get that Mercedes up the grid. Then we've got Shadow in the Audi, which standard really. It's an Audi R8. You made the choice. I know the Dodge Viper was probably absolute shambles of a car after the bop and physics raping of Polybaloney. But really, the Audi R8, that was the next choice. Sorry, Shadow. I'm sure it's fun. I've driven the Audi R8. I wouldn't class it as fun. And then Animal Untamed, absolutely a living leader, Lavoca or whatever it is, living the leader loca. In 10th spot, lovely looking car as well. Is that a Merc as well? See, not enough Hamilton tears. Let's get Michael Massey in here. Dan Robbo then, way out there in the lead, loving life. Nothing's going wrong for the man at the moment. He's got a little nuisance called Frequency just in the background. Splashes into the pits. And in the chat, we've got Kenzie, no, we've got Kyle saying, depends on how I do. And Kyle saying, Noir too cheap to pay for ice cream. Noir's too cheap to pay for ice cream. Oh, is that the ice cream truck? He's doing all right in the Beamer. The Beamer's leading. The Beamers have come out strong at Watkins Glen. First and fourth for the Beamers. McLaren in second. Then a Corvette in third. A Jenny X in fifth. Corvette in sixth. A Jenny X in seventh. Then we've got an Audi R8 in 8th, unbelievable. Splash, the Mercedes in 9th, and the other Mercedes in 10th. But like I said, they're light on Hamilton's tears at the moment. They need some terrible stuff to happen to the Mercedes team. So Dan Robbo, need another Twitter from Lewis saying, the team don't listen to me. I told them to make a faster car and they didn't make a faster car. Well, what's the point in telling them to make a faster car if they're not going to make a faster car? Where's my daddy? So Dan Robbo, he's leading this race ahead of Frequency, 7.5 seconds with GT Racer. looking like he's camped out on that podium position. Noir's Antares 10 seconds behind. Fred Dude now up into 5th because we've had a flurry of pit stops, a flutter of pit stops. Nano Maranello and Rotary both in. Can Shadow make up a position? Can he? He's coming around that final corner, but Rotary's already on the move, and so is Nano Maranello. But Fred Dude, when will he pit? This is it. We're into the final third of this first race. 2 streams, 2 races. Oh, it's all over the shop. Dan Robbo 7.3 seconds ahead of a Frequency, who's 28.9 seconds ahead of GT Racer in the Corvette. And then we've got Noir's 10.6 seconds off of his teammate. Fred Dude, really, I mean, he's got a pit. He's out of position, I think, because of pits. Then Rotary, who has had penalties out of his ear rolls today. He must be sick of seeing that red writing coming up across the front of his HUD, saying you've got a half a second penalty. His best one's been 3 seconds. Can you beat your 3 seconds, Rotary? Keep an eye out. Oh, whoa, what's this? We've got a race on, children. Let's all calm down. Oh, I'm shaking and my coffee's spilled. I got all excited. I've wet my jeans. So, yeah, baby. Rotary and, Nano and Shadow. Nano and Shadow go for a race. And it's Nano on the inside, Shadow on the outside. And it's Nano who claims that keeps hold of the position. But one thinks that Shadow has a little more pace at this point in the race. And it's on board with Shadow to see if he can come back with another attack. And I'll drink this coffee before I spill it everywhere. Oh, it's on the gaming chair and everything. Looks like I picked myself. I'm blaming you, Shadow and Maranello. Fred Dude's into the pits. He's into the pits. That's Maranello and Shadow. Back up. Is it, though? Is it? Because Fred Dude's number's still there. Fred Dude, no, he is behind these guys. He's behind them. There he is in his Jenny X. And it's race on between these 3. Jesus, wet. I'm loving the keyboard. I'm just still hitting buttons like a tard. Right now, then. What? No, Frequency hasn't gained any, but I think Frequency's playing the long game here because he's not getting through the fuel and he's looking after those tyres quite nicely. A yellow flag up ahead, a yellow flag, and I think that's for Animal Untamed. Looks like he's just making his way back on the track, and for losing all that time of going off, he's going to be penalised. 5 seconds. Splash in the Merc. The Merc's not working. The Merc, wasn't that like one of the OP cars? It's not worked around here. What's this? What's this? Whoa, I saw racing. Who was it? It was Shadow, wasn't it? Oh no, sorry, it's Fred Dude, but who is that ahead of him? That's not Shadow ahead of him. Oh, it's Dan Robbo. Dan Robbo going past, but Shadow's picked up, Fred Dude has picked up a huge amount of damage there. Splash then, closing in. And Fred Dude, he's going to have a visit, and he's only just visited the pit stop. He must have been caught out with those cold tyres. And Fred Dude doing huge amounts of damage to his car. And that's going to give the position to Splash. And the Animal Untamed, even though he's picked up a penalty, oh no, because he's near a pit stop. I'm going to say he might get that position from Fred Dude, but he's got to make a pit stop himself. Dan Robbo then making his way through the traffic, no problems, no issues. He's losing no time to Frequency at the moment, and the win could still be on, but we've got 26 minutes yet before that is decided. But Frequency has done an immense job in that little McLaren. GT Racer in the Corvette, so we've got 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. So you've got to say, maybe they got the pop right. Noir Antares then 4th place with Nano and Maranello in 5th. So where's he gained place from? Rotary, of course. Rotary's picked up damage as well. Rotary has had the worst luck during this race. It's unbelievable stuff. Terrace. See, the whole buying ice cream thing, I go to Shaun of the Dead like it's a reference to not Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. But I guess it's nothing to do with that. It's probably because they think the car looks like an ice cream truck. Oh well, the coffee.
Mistake for frequency to go to the mediums, unless it was accidentally.
Here we go. We've got some information coming through. I love the chat in this racing community because it's so helpful. They tell you everything. So Kenzie saying, I think it was a bit of a mistake for frequency to go to the mediums unless it was accidental. So mediums, maybe frequency wasn't supposed to go to the mediums in this thing. Well, he wasn't really using those softs too much, was he? So Shadow into the pits to fix that, but he's going to take it as a pit stop as well, I assume. Put some fuel in, some tyres. Lovely looking car, lovely. Huge big up to the livery maker of who's Shadow with? Hang on. The fun game of looking up and down.
One pit stop on Robbo.
Shadow. Garage 96. Shadow is in the Audi R8. So yeah, big up to the livery maker of that one. That is crazy good livery. I love it. And in the chat then, Nibles is saying it was intentionally. We tried to cut out one pit stop on Robbo. There you go. He is frequency. I did say, is he trying to wean out that car a little more than Robbo? Robbo is ready for a pit stop. 7.3 seconds. Frequency, I mean, he's still going to have to make a pit. Robbo might not be able to get to the end on one more pit stop. He might have to make two more pit stops in this race, where frequency looks like he is leaning that bad boy out and trying to just make it one more pit stop to go for the frequency team. Sober in the chat saying thanks. I'm guessing he is the livery maker. Kenzie saying, all right, hope it works out. And Nibles saying, it will be close. Ooh, do you hear that? Get your money out. Come on, let's see it. Who wants to put 10p on Robbo and who wants to put 10p on frequency? Group's paying out. He'll honour all bets. So frequency then takes the lead as Dan Robbo goes into the pits. And has the AXR team been out-strategized by Stosilla Racing? This is it. GT Racer, he's getting ready for a pit stop himself with his teammate Noir. And behind, as a rear gunner, Nano Marinello has done an amazing job. He's got past someone else, not only Rotary. I'm sure there was someone else he was racing. It wasn't Splash. It may have been Shadow or Fred Dude. But Fred Dude, he's had to come in and fix something. I thought he'd be down there with Animal Untamed, but Animal Untamed had to make a pit stop as well, didn't he? So Fred Dude now trying to close in on the Audi R8 with a Splash. 16 and a bit seconds behind a Rotary, who's having the worst luck. His Rotary's got a bit of damage there, but it looks like he's driving on with it. We ride on, brother. And Nano Marinello in the sexy-looking Puma Corvette is hunting himself a little bit of Noir Clockwork, who are going to be in the pits very soon. Marinello's got a little more. He might be doing a frequency. So frequency... Oof, I mean, how far? He did go about 20 minutes, so if he can get to 70 minutes in this race, an hour and 10 minutes, which we're only a minute away, he could get that car all the way to the end. Dan Robbo has gone short of fuel, so he is going to do another pit stop before the end of the race, and he has lapped cars up ahead of him. Now, in this field, I mean, these guys are not messing around. They know to let the leaders through. It's not a dailies race or anything like that, but still, it's more hassle for Dan Robbo that he could do without at the moment when he's just lost a pit stop on frequency. GT Racer in third ahead of Noirs. These two still yet to pit. It's got to be this time. He's on vapor. He's running on vapors out there. Try and stay within them yellow lines. Diddy, and Noir, the Clockworks all pitting at the same time. They like to get their pit crew working at the same time, don't they? And here comes Noir. Oh, what a struggle trying to stay in. I don't know if he stayed in those yellows. I don't know what the rules are with the pit lane entry. And Nano and Marinello, this is his time to shine. This is his time to seize his moment. If you've only got one chance, make it pay. And Sober in the chat saying crazy good. My life is completed now. Sorry, man. It's crazy good. It's good. That's a compliment, I'm sure. Well, it's crazy. It's a crazy. I mean, look at it. It's crazy and it's really good. So, yeah, it's crazy good. Frequency then leads this race. We're coming into the dying embers. This is where the fire is just slowly. Well, it's not, because then we're going to poke the fire after 90 minutes, get a fresh lot of sim racers in, and do it all again. So, but Frequency at the moment for Stossilla Racing is leading, but the fuel tank is flashing, and he is in. It's 1:11. There's 19 minutes left of the race. He did 19 minutes in the first stint. He may only be doing one more pit stop. Dan Robbo, I mean, this could be Frequency's last pit stop. Dan Robbo, we believe, may still have a pit stop to do. GT Racer, he's been in and he's got back out in third. That's how excellent he is. And Noir's also in fourth. And Nano and Marinello, 18 seconds behind the Clockwork Orange Racers, with Rotary in sixth. Poor Rotary, still carrying that front diffuser issue, front splitter issue. But, I mean, it can't be costing him any more than the penalties he's had to take today. Splash, 15 seconds behind him, also carrying a little suspension damage and front splitter issue on that one as well. Shadow in the R8 Audi, pulling away from Fred Dude now, are we saying? Fred Dude at 45.6, Shadow at 45.5. It's a close talk fight between these two. Shadow's got plenty of fuel. Now, that's weird. He's only just pitted. He's come back in again. GT Racer has come back in. Did he pick up damage? Let's have a look. Yes, he picked up front splitter damage. Look at that. How fancy am I getting with the replays here? So, Dan Robbo, Frequency, Noir is up and into third spot. My word. Oh, no. GT Racer picking up a 3-second penalty for crossing the pit lane. He's 9 seconds ahead of Marin, lower, and his tyres are pretty much spent. Well, no, they're about halfway through. But now I'm getting worried about the internet again, because I'm hearing weird clicking in my ear. Living in fear, my friends. Living in fear of the channel popping off. So GT Racer, he's got to stay ahead of the other Corvette, but a 3-second penalty is going to hit him hard. He's gone for soft tyres though. And Dan Robbo then leads. Frequency out, 8 seconds behind. But Dan Robbo, is he going to pit again? I'll tell you what, that half a tank of fuel with 15 minutes, I think he can go to the end. I think he can get, well, it's not 15, is it? It's about 17 or so. But I'm not sure. He could get that to the end. So in the chat, Kenzie saying unnecessary pit stop with so few laps to go. Yeah, he might have carried that damage, but he's only lost a position to his teammate, really. So they might have sorted that out, as Dan Robbo has to get past the I'd say lapped cars. They are lapped cars, but they're racing hard. Rotary and Fred Dude down there, but Dan Robbo, I think he can get to the end with that. I don't think Frequency have gained that pit stop that they wanted to gain. Noir and Teres finding himself in a podium position. I bet he wasn't expecting that when he pressed his accelerator before the green light started at the beginning of this race. With GT Racer having to make that quick pit stop. He might be going for fastest lap as well. Frequency's got the fastest lap with a 43.2. And Noir and Teres, what's the difference between fourth and third, points-wise? Oh no, yeah, it's 18 points for third and 15 points for fourth, and just 1 point for fastest lap. So yeah, that would be pointless coming in. But with the damage, maybe he felt, I don't know, maybe he thought Nano was. I'd say he had a 3-second penalty, but Nano hasn't gained. But Nano definitely into the pits soon, and Rotary might be back into the action. And Dan Robbo has come up across a Rotary. Then we have Shadow in the RA ahead of Fred Dude. Splash has gone into the pits. That must be his final pit stop of the day. He's 45 seconds ahead of Animal Untamed, 17.5 seconds behind Fred Dude. So Splash really just driving for a bit of fun in this last 15 minutes, 14 minutes of the race, as Dan Robbo tries to get this race won and done. It's 9-second lead he's got on Frequency, and it doesn't look like there's anything Frequency can do, really. It really needed Dan Robbo to need fuel come the end of the race, and he's done well. He's been doing 44s, mid 44s, so I think he's been fuel saving as he goes along, and he's come across very fast back markers, so he can just sit in the toe of those guys in the BMW. And Dan Robbo, well, this team is going to be tough to beat if it's Caliber and Dan Robbo in every race. It's going to be a tough one, an absolute tough one for anyone out there. The Speedbots Motorsport is the team in that Beamer to beat, and Frequency has given it his all out there, but just not quite able to do the business with Noir and Terrace in third, 13 seconds ahead of GT Racer. Nano and Marinello is going to have to pit soon, and Rotary could be back in action, could be back in that 5th place if Nano takes too long in the pit stops. 31 seconds between them, it's about that, just under. It's going to be tight, and Fred Dude is in the heart of the action as well, and Shadow very close to him. So let's get on board with Shadow as he chases down Fred Dude for a second. Let's just enjoy this. They're getting the blue flags. That'll be Frequency, I imagine, behind them.
GTWEC Racing.
And Caliber says, I hope he does. Who's that? I hope he does what? And Carl Smith saying, RIP GTP Racer. Who? Got Shadow then closing in.
I hope he does not hit again.
So we saw Shadow there easily make that move, but Fred Dude going into the pits. It's quite late in the race for Fred Dude to go into the pits. Let's have a look. There he is, fresh out of the pits, soft tyres. Last 10 minutes of the race, half a tank of fuel. He's 8.5 seconds behind Splash. What state is Splash's tyres in at the moment? Not bad, not bad. It's all a lot of fresh tyres for the end of the race. I think Shadow's going to try and take them all the way. So let's have a look then. Dan Robbo, quarter of a tank of fuel on board. 10 minutes left to go. It's going to be very... Oh, he's going in. He is going in. This is it. Oh, my God. The Stocilla Racing strategist is sitting smugly smiling on the pit wall as Dan Robbo and the Speedbox Motorsports team has to take a Splash O dash right near the end, but he's going to be on absolutely spanking brand new soft tyres with just enough fuel to get by, and Frequency is going to be in trouble. He's on racing mediums. He's going to have a distance on his side, but Dan Robbo is going to have speed on his side. Racing soft tyres, half a tank of fuel. It's race on here, 14 seconds, and Noir Anteras ready for a pit stop there with GT Racing. He should have topped up when he made that pit stop. He could have turned this race around again. But yeah, there's no way Noir is going to get that to the end. So Frequency, he's on medium tyres, and it's race on all the way to the end. He's doing 44s and 45s. If he has to do that all the way to the end, and Dan Robbo is able to do 43s, we have got a close caption finish. Noir definitely needs to take that Beamer into the pits, and GTP Racer is probably going to pit before the end. Nano Marinello has recently pitted, and he got himself, he either got out ahead of Rotary, or he's overtaken Rotary. Let's have a look if there's anything in it there. In the chat then, it says he's ahead there, so all's good. So in the chat then, Kenzie says yes, that'll be the pit stop. He's getting excited about. Caliber said, why did he do that? I don't know. It seemed like he had everything under control out there in the lead, but he's made another pit stop. Maybe he didn't think there was enough fuel, but it's very... He was close to the end to make a pit stop. It's very weird a move. And Caliber's saying he didn't fuel up completely the stop before. No, he only put half a tank in the fuel before, the stop before. So, Frequency then. This is it. This is the turtle and the hare. The story of the turtle and the hare. If you've never heard it, it's about a turtle that raced a hare. It's very unlikely. The turtle won. Never believed it when I was a kid. Still don't believe it now. As if the hare's going to have a nap and a bit of brunch in the middle of a race. Who does that? So Frequency, oh, Dan, did you enjoy your nap and brunch? Oh, that's not fair. Dan Robbo, you've done an excellent job. I'm not dissing you, man. But the strategy might not be right. Noirs has come in. GT Racer is going to come in. Nano and Marinello, it's keeping Rotary at bay. And Rotary's got a penalty. What a surprise. Our very own Ocon, and he's going to have to make a pit. Only 7 minutes left of the race. And, yeah, he's paying his penalty. But that fuel tank's not going to get him to the end of this one as GT Racer and Noir slowly crawl out of the pit lane. But Nano Marinello is way too far behind to make an impact on those guys with Rotary. Oh, well, there's nothing he can do, really. He's going to have to pit, and Splash could be a position up on the on them with a Shadow still in the fight here, and Fred Dude catching up to the back of Shadow. An Animal Untamed, I'm sure, has had better days, but let's hope he had fun. As long as you have fun, that's all that matters. Frequency at the moment, 12.4 second lead on Dan Robbo. Unbelievable action we are seeing here at Watkins Glen for race 1, round 1 of the AequepaX Racing. Is it a league? I suppose it is today. And Dan Robbo getting the fastest lap as well. That's another point, even if he loses out the points for the lead of this race. And Noir Anteras in that third after his pit stop on softs. GT Racer on softs as well, 12.4 seconds behind. And he's hanging the back of that Corvette out. He is slamming it. With Nano Marinello 17 seconds adrift of him, and he's 28 seconds ahead of Rotary. Rotary having to go in and make that pit, and Splash is in the action now. Splash can smell blood, and he's fresh. He wants it. And in the chat then. Nibles says, I don't think his tyres would have lasted to the end anyway. And Caliber says, Robbo needs low 42s. He certainly does. He needs a blooming miracle is what he does need. And at the moment, ooh, a whole bite of understeer, then oversteer in the Mercedes for Splash. And that Merc looks like a right handful into the corners. Look at it. It just doesn't want to turn. Then it bites and then it doesn't again. Oof. Hard work. I've got to watch one more corner because it really does look like 1 minute it bites into the corner. Then he slides out the corner. So in. No, I don't want to. Yes, I will. Too much. Yeah, it's looking like a bit of a handful is the Merc there for Splash as he tries to close in on the Jenny X of Rotary. So frequency out there, he's pulling out 44s. Tyres are looking not too bad, bedded in, and he's got just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, and we've got 4 minutes left of racing. What's that, just 2, maybe 3 laps left of this race? Dan Robbo 42, but he followed it up with a 44. So Dan Robbo overdriving the Beamer, and he's not making the ground that he wants to make on frequency. Noir Antares, will there be a position change to give GT Racer that 3rd spot back? I mean, he did damage his car and have to fix it. So Noir Antares, but it's a team effort out there for Clockwork Motorsport. Maranello, great start to his season here in the GT World Endurance Championship run by AequepaX Racing. And Nano Maranello with a 5th place is a great leaping point. Rotary, what a race Rotary's had. Let's add up his penalties. He would have been a bit ahead of Nano Maranello, I imagine, after all these penalties taken into account. Splash, still on a push to get that position from Rotary. Shadow, he's also in it. We've got a lovely little close fight down here between 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th as we're coming into the end of the race, the last few minutes of the race. And yeah, from 6th all the way down to 9th is very tight. But it's frequency at the moment. 10-second lead he has on Robbo, and Robbo is driving the wheel nuts off of that car. Another fastest lap, 42.6, as he tries all he can to catch up with a frequency. But the Stacilla Racing in the McLaren today have got the strategy just right, it seems. And Caliber saying, yeah, that's it then, except a mistake happens. And that's the 44, lap 40, the 144 that Robbo pulled has cost it. And frequency, the Stacilla Racing gang have done a super job. It was Dan Robbo's race all day long, you would have said. The Beamer had the pace and track position all throughout, but frequency changing to the medium tyres, saving up a pit stop, and it's paid big dividends for Stacilla Racing in this race. Noir Antares wouldn't have ever dreamed of a podium at the beginning of this race an hour and 28 minutes ago when he pressed the go faster button before the green light. And Noir Antares has had to fight this one back. A little gift from his teammate who's just put a lap on the Untamed Animal based. I can't remember now. We'll get there in a minute. Nano Maranello, superb job for 5th place. And then we've got this battle down here. Rotary has pulled away from Splash. Splash could be in trouble here. Shadow's got a lack of fuel though. The clock is ticking. We are seconds away from checkered flag, and it's very tight, and Shadow will be wanting that flag to come out. Oh, they're all tight on fuel as they come around. 33 seconds. They're going to have to find another lap in these cars. Fred Dude sitting pretty with the fuel, but the tyres just not quite there. And yeah, it'll be Animal Untamed, I imagine. One of the first to finish. Hang on, if I can find that one. That's him. It's Noir Anteras, I reckon, will be the first to cross the line to see the checkered flag for his podium position. And Frequency at the moment still 7 seconds. Dan Robbo pushing it all the way to the hilt. But I don't think there is maybe another lap or two if there was. And here comes Noir Anteras for the first podium of the season for the Clockwork Orange guys. Great drive from Noir. And then we have a GT racer getting himself a beautiful 4th spot there in the table with Nano Marinello. No, it's not Nano. Who's crossing next? Who knows? Someone's just spun it out. It'll be Animal Untamed. Oh, I'm losing now. Who's crossing the line? Here we go. Nano Marinello will be the next to cross the line for 5th place. Great drive from the American. Beautiful stuff for 5th. Then it's the leader. Frequency, 6.6 seconds. Saved that pit stop. And he deserves the win today. Great drive from Frequency. And Dan Robbo just coming down the straight. Very close, very tight. Comes in 2nd. Noir got 3rd. Then Rotary. What a race. What a trip that Rotary's had in this race. Gets 6th spot in the end. And Splash coming home in 7th. Stays ahead of Shadow and Fred Dude to grab 7th spot, with Shadow getting 8th. And Fred Dude on the controller coming home in 9th. What an absolute clanger of a battle of a race that was, people. Beautiful stuff. And there we see a lovely shot of Frequency's backside. Perk. He's been doing squats, you can tell. He doesn't miss lunge day, does Stasilla. Look at that. Beautiful. He's not Stasilla, he's Frequency. He drives for Stasilla. Right then, let's have a look at those results, and then we'll have a short break and get the stream back up and running for race 2. Exciting stuff. In the chat, Nibbles saying, oh, sweet Lord, I have to start in front of you then, Caliber. And Nibbles saying, I am doomed. Yes, be careful. The beamer is lightning off the start. So there is the results for Season 2, Round 1, Race 1. Frequency in the McLaren, winning at Watkins Glen, with Dan Robbo coming home in 2nd and Noir Anteras rounding out the top 3. Take a boo, my son. GT Racer, very close, but got a bit of damage, had to pit in his Corvette, brought it home in 4th, with Nano Marinello also doing very fine work in the Corvette and getting himself 5th. Then 6th for Rotary in the top Genesis X, and Splash coming home in 7th in the Mercedes. Shadow in 8th in the Audi. 9th for Fred Dude in the next Genesis. Animal Untamed in 10th Mercedes, and Kevin 11th, but he was a DNF. And I don't know if he'll get points for that or not. That's down to the powers that be, the voices above. Wowzers. So everyone's going to be scooting off. It's going to be around about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. You get to go and have a quick fag like me, and maybe a wee, and then we'll have to we'll get up and running with race 2. So thanks for viewing. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, I'm double stinting it because the Aussie is off watching the Formula One, and he's picking up some Mercedes tears while he's out there. Right, so thank you for viewing here at the AXR Racing channel. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Hugh Jassol. Thank you for joining us here, and catch us again in about 10 minutes. See ya. Hopefully we won't have many problems like this one. All right then. Peace out.